Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Garner, Public Information Officer for Florida Power and Light. Welcome to the FPL Command Center, where preparations are well underway for Hurricane Milton. In a moment, our President and CEO will join us and give us an update on our preparations and response to the hurricane. I'd like to thank our media partners for keeping our customers informed, also our customers who are joining us through Facebook Live. If you're a member of the media joining us remotely, you can also submit your questions to us at media.relations@fpl.com. With that, I'd like to introduce our President and CEO, Armando Pimentel.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today. FPL, I want to assure you, will be here throughout the entire storm. Here's what's happening right now. Estimated landfall for a Category 3 Hurricane Milton will occur sometime overnight on the west coast of Florida. Customers in the southwest Florida are already receiving significant impacts from the storm. FPL is restoring power as we speak throughout the afternoon when it is safe to do so. So as bands come in on this storm, and unfortunately some folks lose their power, while it is safe to do so, we will be restoring power to southwest Florida, and then throughout the state as Hurricane Milton makes its way from the west coast of Florida out to the east coast of Florida. Our restoration workforce is now over 17,000 men and women from over 40 states in our nation that have come to help us. We have 29 sites throughout the state of Florida that have opened up in order to process our employee workforce, those that are helping us from outside the state, as well as to stage our supplies, stage our workforce during the morning, during the evening, and make sure that they can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while we restore power to all of our customers, again, as soon as the storm passes, and even during the bands that will gradually come through the area. We are finalizing our preparations for the rest of the state. There's still some folks that are coming in from outside the state to help us, but we feel at FPL very good with our plan to restore power to everyone affected and get everyone's life back to normal. Milton has already made some history. In just 12 hours yesterday, it went from a Category 1 to a Category 5 storm. It is a very powerful storm that is going to hit southwest Florida again this afternoon. There will be life-threatening storm surge associated with the storm. There will be a lot of rain, and there is going to be a lot of debris on the ground. Recall the ground is already heavily saturated because of Hurricane Helene, and also because of all of the rain that we have received over the last several days as Hurricane Milton makes its path towards us. This is the second major hurricane to hit us in just a couple of weeks, and it is certainly testing our system. But again, we are ready. We have the resources that are available to us, and we are ready to restore power. We feel very, very good with our restoration plan. Customers across the state should prepare to lose power. We have a very resilient system and resilient infrastructure, but this is a big storm coming at us from Mother Nature. There will be trees that are down. There will be some wires, unfortunately, that are down, and some customers will lose power throughout the state. Those outages could be extended at times, but I want to again assure you that we are going to work around the clock to restore everyone's power as soon as possible. If your electricity is out, we know our systems are able to detect that the power is not on at your house. It doesn't mean you can't call us. Feel free to do so. Contact us through the app if you feel that you should do so. But we know the power is out in your neighborhood. You may not see the damage in your neighborhood, and you may not understand why the power may necessarily be out there, but there may be some damage just outside of your neighborhood, down the street, several streets away in another city that would be affecting your power. But we know exactly where those situations will be, and we will be out there restoring power to everybody. The storm's track is still a bit unpredictable at this point as to where it's going to make landfall, but our plan takes those inconsistencies into consideration as we prepare our workforce across the state in 29 of those sites. We are focused on safety at FPL, as we always are, and we want our customers to also be focused on safety as the storm gains strength and comes on our shore. Stay off the roads if you can. Those roads will be really important for all emergency vehicles that are on the road, also for our linemen that are trying to make their way to your neighborhood. Avoid standing water. You never know how deep it is. You never know what's in it. If you can, please avoid it at all costs. Never go near a downed line. Assume that line is energized, and wait. Call FPL at our 1-800 4-outage number. If you have an emergency, call 911. Call 911 immediately. Let them know what your emergency is. If you have a generator, please follow the manufacturer's instructions on a generator. Remember, it cannot be inside your house, and it needs to be far away from windows and other open doors. And be ready to execute on your emergency plans, whatever they might be. If electricity is important, medically important to you, make sure that you have alternate plans should the electricity go out in your house. And for other safety tips, please contact FPL.com. We anticipate a challenging environment restoring power. We know that many of our customers in Southwest Florida have faced this situation numerous times over the last couple of years. I've been to Southwest Florida now several times over the last couple of years to talk to the local officials and to talk to our employees. We're sitting here with you, we're standing there with you, we're thinking about you, but this storm will affect not only Southwest Florida, it is going to affect our customers throughout the state. It is a very large storm with a very large wind field. Most of our service territories should assume that their area is going to get affected in one form or another. Recall that Hurricane Milton, even as it leaves Florida on the East Coast, will still be a Category 1 storm. So it'll still be a Category 1 hurricane as it leaves the state, coming in at a Category 3 storm. We thank our customers for their patience. We know how important it is for you to have electricity at your home, for you to return your life to normal. That's what we do every day. We think of our customers and we make sure that we can make their lives better. So thank you, and with that, I will take any questions.
We have a question that came into the media inbox. What should we tell the customers who have sustained significant damage to their homes about how to get power back into their homes?
So the first thing is, remember that if the power is out in your home, we know. It is important for us to make sure that we can keep the power on your home as long as possible. If the power has been out on your home and you have damage, whether it's flooding damage, whether something has hit the electrical lines outside the house, something has hit your meter, so on, it will be very important for you to contact a licensed electrician to make sure your house is safe to receive power. We can restore power to everyone's home who can receive the power. But unfortunately, in some of these situations, if your home has received significant damage, you will need to call a licensed electrician to make sure it is safe for us to restore power before we do.
We are seeing comments on Facebook asking if FPL cuts power to the grid in advance of the storm.
So we do not cut power to the grid in advance of the storm. That's a misnomer. Our job is to make sure you have power at your home for as long as possible while it is safe to do so. Cutting power to your home because of the integration of the grid, unfortunately, means that you would have to cut power to many other areas around your home. And there could be traffic lights, it could be critical facilities that would also cut power, and that's certainly not the right thing to do in an emergency. Again, if you believe that you have received damage to your home, whether it's from flooding, debris, or other manners, it is important for you to contact a licensed electrician to make sure your home is safe to receive power.
Another media question came in about on social media, customers are asking why we do not underground all power lines.
So we underground as many power lines as we can over a long period of time. It's certainly a good idea to underground what we call our community lines, those lines that you see in your community. And we started a process several years ago to make sure that we are able to underground as many lines as we can on an annual basis. That project is going to take some time. Obviously, the more lines that are undergrounded, the less damage those lines would get in a typical storm or even in an afternoon thunderstorm. But burying lines is a costly proposition, and we want to make sure that we're doing what's right for our customers in terms of reliability, but also in terms of cost. And so we are in the process, and we have an approved plan through our regulators to bury lines, those community lines, for over a very long period of time. Some of our customers today have buried lines in their neighborhood on projects that we have been working on over the last couple of years. And many of you, over the next several years, will start seeing community projects to bury your lines. We're all for burying our community lines, and we will continue to do so.
We have a question in here about how many customers you expect to lose power and how that compares to previous storms.
So it's a little early to tell how many customers will lose power. Every storm is different. You really cannot compare one storm to the next. Even today, the National Hurricane Center will tell you that landfall is plus or minus 20 or 30 miles from this evening. Depending on the winds at landfall, depending on how the storm stays together after landfall, based on the amount of rain and surge that we have in your individual area, that will all determine the number of customers that are out. Very soon after the storm passes, our crews will be out assessing the damage. And it's important to understand, as they are assessing the damage, they will also be putting people's lights back on. We're not going to wait till after the damage assessment to start putting people's lights back on. We are going to do that as we're doing the damage assessment. Our historical practice, which will again be the case for this storm, is roughly 24 hours after the storm, we feel comfortable providing estimated times for restoration for counties across the state, and we will do so again. But it's a little bit early to determine exactly what the storm is going to do and how many outages we might have.
Okay, and how does FPL plan to juggle Helene relief and Milton relief at the same time?
So Helene relief for us is pretty much done. I would say it is completely done, but there are certainly some houses that do not have electricity yet from Helene. Those are the homes, unfortunately, that cannot receive power at this point. And I want to make sure I say that, because if I say that you're all 100% done, I'm going to get a question or two from some customers who are still waiting for their electricians to show up. But we're essentially done with Helene. The restoration effort in the Carolinas and in Georgia is also essentially done from Helene. It is not done. There's still a lot of work in some of those areas to plug customers back in. We were able to get the resources that we needed from this storm across the United States. So we have men and women from 40 states that have made their way down to Florida to help us. Mutual assistance is a hallmark of the electric utility industry. After Helene, after we cleaned up our area here in Florida, we sent FPL crews up to Georgia and the Carolinas to help them. And now that we need the assistance down here in Florida, we are getting the assistance from others, not only in the Southeast, but across the United States. Again, I feel very comfortable with the workforce. That's roughly 17,000 men and women that we have assembled to restore for this storm.
And finally, what is the message that you want to tell customers as Milton closes in on Florida?
So there's two main messages, right? The first one is safety. Please be safe. Now is not the time to trim trees. It's unfortunately too late for that. Be careful with the amount of debris that you might have on the outside of the home. If you're going to use a generator, please follow the manufacturer's instructions. Don't go out on the road looking at damage around your neighborhood. Be careful for standing water. Be careful going out during the eye of the storm. Be careful about going out right after the storm. Safety is so important to us here at FPL and should be very, very important to you at home. And the second thing that I want everybody to understand is we're ready. We've done this before. We prepare for storms all year through. We certainly have a lot of experience preparing for storms and actually doing restoration for storms. I feel very, very comfortable with the restoration plan that we have, and we will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until all of our customers have received power. With that, please stay safe and secure, and we'll get your lights back on. Thank you.
Thank you, Armando, and thanks to all of you for joining us. We will be here with you throughout this storm. Please stay connected with us, both on FPL.com by downloading the FPL mobile app and on your social media channels. Stay safe, everyone.